Welcome back to GIS Gallery. In this tutorial, I'll guide you through essential steps for working with geodatabases in ArcGIS. From creating a geodatabase and adding featured datasets and classes to importing shapefiles and exporting features, this video covers everything you need to manage your spatial data efficiently in ArcGIS. Without further ado, let's dive in.
So to create geodatabase, it's like the steps are similar to creating a shapefile. So first we'll need to do is we need to go over to a catalog. Okay, so we'll just go over to a catalog, and then we'll just connect to whichever folder that you want to create your database. Okay, so I'll just go over to whichever the folder that I want to do my database creation. So I have connected to my folder here, and it's shown over here, right? And then what I'll do is I'll just right click to whichever folder that I want my geodatabase to be created. Okay, click on right click. Then we have new here, and then we can click on file geodatabase. Okay, so click on file geodatabase, and it should actually create a new file geodatabase here. You can rename it to be anything that you want. So I'll just give it GDB. Okay, so I've actually created a empty shape geodatabase, right? So there's nothing here. Okay, to this you can actually create a file or something like a feature data set, and inside which we'll be creating a feature class, right? So to create a feature data set, you need to right click your database, click on new, and then you have feature data set. Click on feature data set, and then we'll need to give the name for the data set that we are going to create. So I'll just give out the name is something like Kerala districts, or like Kerala. Okay, so I'll give the feature dataset name Kerala, and then it will actually ask for your coordinate system. So right now to this code, the feature dataset, I'll be adding my boundary data. So I'll just set the coordinates of whatever the file that I will be working with. So a feature dataset has some the files of a similar coordinate system. Okay, so to this feature dataset, I'm setting the coordinate system of UTM zone 43, and I'll just click on run. It says a feature dataset has been created. Now, if I come over to my uh, database, you can see that the feature dataset named Kerala has been created, but it's empty. Okay. Now, to this dataset, I'll be creating a new feature class. Okay. So, to create a new feature class, you will have to right click, right? So, you have to right click your dataset, not right click your database. So, if you click on right click the database and create a new feature class, it will be falling inside the database but outside the feature dataset. Okay. So if you want your feature class to be created inside the feature dataset, you'll have to right click the dataset and then click on new and then click on feature class. Okay. So I told you feature class is same as a shapefile, but it's a format that is inside the database, right? So similar thing, I'll be giving my name is something like Kerala districts, right? I can give the name as Kerala districts, and then I can say, so it's similar like creating a shapefile. So feature class is similar as creating a shapefile. So if you remember the steps we did for creating a shapefile, it was a similar thing, right? So we'll give out the name, and then we'll be clicking on which kind of vector file we'll be creating. So we have polygon, line, and point. So I'll be clicking on polygon, right? And then I'll click on next. And then in here itself, so the difference from creating a shapefile and database feature class is that when you are creating the feature class itself, you can give new field names. Okay. So if you remember, when you are doing the shapefile, when we create a shapefile, it only asks for what kind of data it is and then in its name. And when you click on done, it will be creating an empty shapefile, right? And then if you want to add new field name or like new columns to your attribute table, you'll have to open the attribute table and then go into add field and create new fields. Okay. In the case of feature class of a database, when you're creating the feature class itself, you have an option here to create fields. Okay. That is to create new columns on an attribute table. So you can do that while you're creating the new feature class itself. So I can give something like name, right? The name of the field will be name, and then it will be a text, and I can give something like area, and it will be something like float, right? So if that is done, I can just click on next, and then this asks for which coordinate system it is. So it's actually in UTM zone 43N. That is done. You click on new, and I mean click on next, and then I can just finish this. Now you can see that an empty feature class has been added here, and if you check the attribute table, you will have a feature class with the fields, name, and area. Right? It's an empty feature class because there's no data added here, and you have the name and class. Now you can digitize to this feature class normally like the yeah. So now you can digitize to the feature class normally like how you did with your shapefile, right? So you can click on edit, click on new, and then you have the district template here, and then you can just digitize whatever that you did just like before. Okay, so this is how you create a database and then create a feature class inside it. Okay, so if you come over to my view catalog panel, you can see that I have a database node called new GDB. I have a dataset called feature dataset called Kerala, and then inside the feature dataset I have the feature class called Kerala districts. Okay, so if I want to create new feature classes to this data set, I can just click on new and add all those things. Okay. So this is how you create a new feature class inside your dataset. Okay. So what if you had already a vector data that is a shapefile, and then you just wanted to add them into your database, right? So for example, you have this vector data, right? It's actually a shapefile, right? So if you see here, it's actually a shapefile that is in this folder. Okay, it's actually a shapefile. Now, if I want to actually add this into my database, I don't need to like digitize them from the first itself, right? I already have a vector type, which is a shapefile here. I can actually import them into my data set or database without actually needing to digitize them again inside to a database. Okay. So how you can create or how you can import your already created or already existing shapefile as a feature class into your database is if you want to actually import them into this dataset, you can just right click the dataset, right? And then in here you have the option called import. Okay, you can click on import. You can select feature class, right? So what does it do? You can import multiple feature classes into this geodatabase using this import function. You can actually read this here. You can import multiple feature classes into this geodatabase. So click on import, and then it will open up feature class to geodatabase conversion 2. Okay, so what I can do is I can actually add the features here, right? So when I'm clicking on, so since I already have this data added here, I can just click on the drop down and select the data, right? And you can see that a new option also started up because you can actually import multiple shapefile at a time into the geodatabase, right? You don't need to click one by one again and again. You can actually select multiple features or multiple shapefiles and then import them into a geodatabase. Okay. So if I had something in your folder, you can just click on browse and then select whichever the shapefile that you wanted to actually import them to my database. Okay, so if I say here, you can say the output folder is the ArcGIS database new GDB, and inside the new GDB, it's going to my dataset which is called Kerala, right? So that is the output geodatabase. We don't need to actually change here because why? Because we actually right click to the location we wanted to import the data to, right? So I wanted to import this data to my Kerala data set, feature data set. So that's why I right click the feature data set and clicked on import. So the output is already set. I just need to select which data that I want to actually import into my database. Now if I just click on run, you can see that it's converting, right? For a second it showed it was converting. So it's converted a shapefile to a geodatabase feature class. Now if I come over to my catalog and then click on Kerala, you can see it's not actually displayed here because we haven't actually refreshed. Okay, so to refresh it, you can just right click on the database, click on refresh, or you can just right click on the dataset, click on refresh, and if I just drop down this again, you can see that my boundaries, which was a shapefile, now has been converted to a file geodatabase feature class, right? So before it was a shapefile, now that shapefile has been converted into a file geodatabase feature class into my geodatabase. Similarly, now you just imported the shapefile to a geodatabase feature class, right? Similarly, you can also do the opposite, right? You can actually export a feature class to a shapefile. To do that, you just need to right click whichever the data that you want to actually export. Right click there. You have an option called export. There you can actually export the feature to a CAD file or a feature class or a shapefile. So I have different options here. So if I am selecting the feature class to shapefile, export feature tool will be opening up, and then the input feature is your boundaries data that is inside the Kerala dataset inside the new GDB geodatabase, right? And then it will ask for to where you want to actually save this file, right? So right now it's in the default location with the name project.shp. So if you want to actually change the location and the name, you can just click on browse, and then you can set to wherever the location that you actually want to save this data, right? Again, you can just give the name. You can click on save, and then the name will be given. And if you click on run, your database feature class will be converted to a shapefile, right? So that is how you can uh, create a shapefile, import to a, create a database, right? Create a dataset, feature dataset, and then create a feature class inside the feature dataset. And then we have also seen how to create or import an already existing shapefile into a geodatabase feature class, and also export a feature class to a shapefile, right? So those things we have covered for now.